thought this report is excellent. I think it's the first comprehensive report into the state of nature in Oxfordshire. I thought what was great about it was a really balanced view, but also a positive view of what's happening in Oxfordshire. There's an acknowledgement that there has to be some development, but it asks the question how we do that development more sustainably and how we really interact with nature to create an environment which is for the good of all the people of Oxfordshire. It also acknowledges some real problem issues that we've got to address. Very interested in the state of the rivers and the joining up of ecosystems throughout Oxfordshire. It was a really interesting afternoon. I thought it was really balanced. I thought the speakers were excellent, and I will be commending this report to my fellow board members at the Oxfordshire Local Enterprise Partnership. So thank you very much.
Well, I think it's one of the things I am why I'm a supporter of Wild Oxfordshire is because it's actually just bringing together a community of very passionate people about nature. Now, obviously, I'm a specialist in, my speciality is forestry and woodlands, and a lot of the people that I've worked with have been actually introduced to me through the Wild Oxfordshire community. And as a result of that community coming together, we've published a forestry strategy for Oxfordshire, which is called In a Nutshell. And I really hope that the two couple very neatly with each other. The State of Nature report will be able to provide evidence in terms of a baseline for the wildlife that is associated with woodlands, and it will give us something that we're able to build upon.
The event's brilliant. It's exactly what's needed in a community in the county where you pull together like-minded people with big groups behind them to try and make a difference and to understand, where our nature's at quite a critical time, so we can start building not just on the successes and building those and rolling those out further, but also identifying those spots which we've not looked at.
Well, from the big picture point of view, it really has sort of pulled together a lot of the things that we need to know about biodiversity in Oxfordshire. But one thing I'd particularly like to emphasise is the importance of local communities as part of this process. We heard a lot about how local volunteers collate a lot of the basic information which allows us to understand and develop the biodiversity in Oxfordshire. But also there is this link between the health of individuals and communities and their relationship with biodiversity, and also in terms of what they can do to help deliver biodiversity. So I'd really like to emphasise that particular aspect as part of the report itself.
This afternoon was really important for Oxfordshire, and I think it's important for a number of reasons. I think it's long overdue that we have a really detailed report on the state of Oxfordshire's environment and what people can do to try and help support it for the future. I think it's vital. And it was a superb report. It's so good that there's so many organisations that have contributed towards it. I think now we just need a call to arms. We need organisations to get together and make things happen.
We need to understand that the county does have some wildlife, and if we act now, we can do more to save it so that it isn't all lost. There's huge development pressure both within the countryside and from urban expansion, and while we all understand that it's necessary, we need to know what we can do to mitigate the damage and help the precious species and habitats that we have. And I think reports like this are invaluable because it helps us all collectively take steps in the right direction.
Getting that process to work through collaboration, through partnership, and through enthusiasm, because wasn't that room full of enthusiasm?
What can we do to knit together with others? And actually I was sitting next to another landowner, and across the aisle from me was another landowner on the Even Load, and I know the three of us are going to be working together closely.
And I think the report's so comprehensive, we can use this to put on desks and to put in front of people to show them what can be achieved in the county. It's something we've not been able to use before because we've not had it. But now we've got it, we can use it to encourage people to put some funding into the future of Oxfordshire's environment.
And then with my other hat on, agroecology, which is all about bringing together researchers and advisors and practitioners in farming, so a lot targeted towards farmers, bringing together all that expertise to try and share best practice in practical sustainable farming.
What can come from a major collaboration is to say, okay, if we pool our resources and we have a bigger ambition together than we can individually have as individual organisations, then maybe something can actually change in that sort of quantitative respect of the scale that we can do something at.
We have a lot of visitors to the farm shop at Dalesford that are already interested in nature and already interested in where their food comes from. By default, they're going to a farm shop, they see it all around them. But it's, we've got a platform there to then go and talk about some of the other wonderful examples that are going on in the middle of Oxford, hearing about the most treasured and rarest environment, habitat in the country in the middle of Oxford.
My role within Oxford Preservation Trust is to help manage their land. And Oxford Preservation Trust cares for 1,000 acres in and around the city of Oxford. And so we're providing valuable green open space for people to enjoy and to keep that green setting for our lovely historic city. And so as representing a landowner, there are two things I'd like to do as a result of this afternoon. And the first is to increase the level of public access we have over our land. And the second is to ensure that whatever happens in the coming years when we leave Europe, is that the Trust's land goes into whatever agri-environment scheme that may come post-Brexit, so that there is that help for our very precious wildlife, and we can help join up and with other landowners to create this corridors for movable species.
So yeah, no, I'm really excited to have been here today. I think it's a great thing that WildOxford has been able to lead it, and I look forward to the next steps.